If you live in one of these countries in dark blue, then chances are you're going back to school this September. That's exactly why I'm making this video, to explain the different types of kids in high school. Obviously, not everyone's school is the same, but this will probably apply to most of you. I don't know what your school is like. I'm from Minnesota. Also, everything I say in this video is for your entertainment, so I'm not trying to offend anyone. With that being said, you know what's happening, so let's get into it. First up, we have the academics, also known as the teacher's pets, also known as the nerds. Don't take that the wrong way, it's just something that people say. These are the kids who have memorized the periodic table, have entire binders for each school subject, and keep all their writing utensils in a custom pencil case. Like, what? There's a lot more than that, but you get what I'm saying. I'm just listing some things off. Now, in regard to clothing, their taste is very distinct. Most of the time, they usually just wear a good amount of things like sweaters, vests, and trousers. Not to forget the patterns they wear like polka dots, plaid, and argyle. I'm sorry, but what the fuck is argyle? So, not the most fashionable, obviously. As for music taste, there isn't really much to say. Depending on what kind of academic you are, this could be anything from video game soundtracks to nerdcore, to any song or album that Fantano rated a 9 or higher. That is, if you're a music nerd. Again, don't take that the wrong way. I'm just calling it how it is. These academics are sometimes a bit antisocial and typically hang around other people who share their same niche interests. They can range from very calm and hardworking, the kind of kid who everyone loves having as a partner for their group project, to just straight up annoying and always telling you what you're doing wrong on the homework. That's not to say that feedback is bad, but it isn't always very helpful. Or they're reminding the teacher that they forgot to assign homework. Come on. Next up, we have the athletes, also known as the jocks, but who really says jocks anymore? Keep in mind that I can't speak from experience in this one because I'm thinner than a slice of cheese. These are the kids who go to the gym at least twice a week, are on multiple sports teams, and pull all the baddest girls in school, especially if you're black, I'm not gonna lie. They can be different types of athletic and all fit under the same category, but if you're watching this, you probably just sit on your bed all day and watch YouTube videos and goon, so you don't care about all the details. In regard to music taste, almost every single athlete is into trap music. This includes artists like Travis Scott, Playboi Carti, Future, and Drake when he's not on passion fruit mode. Anything that gets them turned, basically. They also like Kendrick Lamar for some reason, even though he's lyrical. Everyone likes Kendrick Lamar, though. Actually, forget it. They like every kind of hip-hop. When it comes to clothing, they usually wear t-shirts and shorts, sometimes a sports uniform, and maybe a tank top here and there. Now, contrary to the academics, athletes usually take school a little less seriously and are often loud or boisterous in class. This usually applies more to boys, since girls athletes are more chill and just talk amongst themselves, basically. Boy athletes, no, they don't do that. They're always among the most popular people in school, pulling all the baddest girls. So they always have their group of friends with them, just doing all sorts of crazy shit in class. So I would only recommend being friends with them if you are also an athlete or someone who really enjoys being insecure. Next up, we have the class clowns. I'm going to keep this one shorter because I honestly don't have much to say about them. They're always trying to be the center of attention in class, even if it makes them harder for everyone else to get their work done. Every class wouldn't be complete without one of these, but they can either make class funnier or less enjoyable, depending on how much you care about school. The teacher usually despises class clowns because they just want to do their job and get paid. The only reason the class clown does what they do is honestly because they never received attention as a child and are determined to get everyone around them to notice them as a teenager. These people are the least chill to be around, and you should only be friends with them if you care more about excitement than actually doing schoolwork. After the class clowns, you've got the popular kids. The popular kids are exactly what they sound like. Almost everybody in the school knows about them, and they always have a large friend group around them, but tend to hang more with their close friends. These kids are usually popular for a few reasons. They're an athlete, they're part of some other school activity that allows them to meet a lot of people, or they are really good social skills and are genuinely kind people. Some popular kids can even know like half the school. For example, there's this one guy I know in high school, let's call him Mark. Now, I don't really talk to Mark that much anymore because, well, he's popular and has way more friends than me. Anyways, when I was walking down the school hallway with him, every person we passed was saying hi to him. I'm like 90% sure the reason that he's so popular is because he's so friendly and outgoing. So, not all popular kids are necessarily bad, but when anyone gets that big of an ego, they become a little, rude. And that's not the only thing about popular kids. They're constantly looking for more connections so they can boost their spot on the social pyramid. Popular boys and girls might even start dating because, well, they're both popular. Speaking of which, there's a difference between popular boys and girls. Boys will just be boys, talking about sports and video games and, occasionally getting into fights. The stereotypes are true. And, of course, girls will be girls. I'm not trying to sound biased here, but popular girls can be very toxic towards their friends, and they're not always very nice people. If you're a popular girl or friends with a popular girl, correct me if I'm wrong. Popular kids can actually be very beneficial to be friends with because they can connect you to more people. So see if one of your friends who's friends with a popular kid can set you up. But popular kids are also more likely to take drugs and don't care as much about school, so be careful. Going back to school isn't always easy, but you know what is? Hitting the like and subscribe buttons on this video. Really hope you're enjoying it, and if you made it this far, then you should definitely like and subscribe because I'm going to be making a lot more content like this on the way. Thanks. Next up, we got the NPCs. I just thought I'd include this one in here because there are going to be enough at your school, so you should know what to expect. There isn't really as much to say about these types of kids because they don't really have much personality at all. Basically, the high school equivalent of coworkers. So obviously, they usually listen to coworker music. This includes artists like Imagine Dragons, One Republic, Maroon 5, and other mainstream artists. Not to forget Stomp Clap music. They don't have very many friends because of their lack of individuality and are constantly trying to blend in with whatever's popular at the time. But they could just not feel the need to think too hard about life and just go with the flow instead. Nothing wrong with that. They usually dress very standard, like a plain t-shirt and shorts. There isn't really anything bad about being friends with them except that the fact that they aren't really particularly interesting in any way. Next up, we have the school bops. You already knew from the thumbnail that I was going to include this in the video. First, I want to make something very clear. I am not using this term in a derogatory way or trying to shame anybody. I'm only using it for entertainment purposes. I understand that using this word can be interpreted the wrong way and is used to target certain groups of people, but that is not my intent. I'm just making a YouTube video for all the unemployed people out there. So, as I was saying, these are the girls at school who are, shall I say, promiscuous. They're the ones who do certain things in the bathroom, if you know, you know, and sometimes even start an OF. I'm not talking about Odd Future. You probably have at least a few of these at your school, and you can usually tell who they are. As you probably know, they usually opt for less clothing and wear things like short shorts, t-shirts, and crop tops. Anything to get attention. Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just calling it how it is. They usually hang around guys who are either athletes or just very popular because, let's be honest, they don't want dweebs like us. Besides, it's way easier for girls like them to pull than guys. A group of people can have great personalities, but they usually don't prioritize that in relationships. So I wouldn't advise being very close friends with them unless you're, trying to get some. They aren't very good at keeping relationships because they're promiscuous, so they have very large body counts. After the school bops, we've got the emo kids. Almost every public school has some of these, and they're one of the most recognizable groups on this list. They're sometimes called the quiet kids, and either stick to themselves or stay around other emo kids. They dress in dark colors and dye their hair black, which they wear in a very recognizable way. As their name suggests, they can have very intense emotions and have a wider range of feelings than most other people. They're usually very interested in art and drawing, and especially cosplaying. They often hang out in cliques and discuss their interests with other emo kids, because they don't really trust anyone else. They're kind of loners in a sense. When it comes to clothing, they typically go for a black and white aesthetic, and often wear a lot of black eyeliner. You can even find them in tall black boots and sometimes even skirts. They usually have the most pale white skin you will ever see, but that doesn't mean all of them are white. In regard to music taste, they listen to a lot of underground stuff. Also a lot of punk rock, like, Blink-182 or Fall Out Boy. And if they're into rap, then they're probably listening to XXXTentacion, Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd, and maybe some Black Bear. They can be pretty chill to be around, and they're not doing anyone any harm most of the time, so they get a thumbs up from me. Last but not least on this list are the YNs. Again, if you saw my thumbnail, you knew I'd be putting YNs in here. Now, if you don't know what this stands for, then I don't know what to tell you. Google it. I'm not saying it out loud, but I'll tell you this. They all have a certain level of melanin, if you know what I mean. Now, you don't necessarily have to be black to be a YN. It's more so a mentality. But it basically means all of the black kids out there who are more violent, aggressive, and gang-affiliated than their counterparts. Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I know most black kids aren't like this, but this is just for everyone's entertainment, alright? I'm just reading Google's AI definition. Now, these are the kids who dress in things like track pants and tight-fitting coats, who sometimes throw on a ski mask and sag their pants a little. You might be thinking, King Mello, how could you know this much about YNs? Aren't you from Minnesota? And yes, we have plenty here too, especially in the suburbs. I'm not calling anyone out or anything, but if you know, you know. YNs always hang around each other and are not very chill most of the time. Again, they have a reputation for acting up and being more violent than most other people. When it comes to music taste, there's really only one right answer: hip-hop. It's even been a rumor that the CIA created NWA, Google it yourself, to promote the gangster rap mentality on the black youth. But YNs these days don't listen to NWA. They listen to artists like Lil Durk, NBA Youngboy, Future, and Lil Baby, and if they're British, throw in some Central C. All the street shit. I don't really recommend being friends with YNs unless you consider yourself being one, because you kind of have to become one to be part of that group. Well guys, that was today's video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe buttons on your screen. I spent like a week editing this, and I have more videos like this on the way. I'm just trying out something new and seeing if it does better than my previous content. Have a